You ever notice how everybody walks around like they've got a personal mission from the universe? Like they were personally handpicked to save the world through paperwork and phone calls. People act like their lives are so damn important, like they're the lead character in some grand production where the rest of us are just unpaid extras. Oh, I can't talk right now. I have a meeting. Oh, really? A meeting? Wow, history will remember this one. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1998, Karen had a meeting about quarterly performance. Give her a medal. It's hilarious how we take ourselves so seriously. You'd think after a few thousand years of falling off horses, crashing cars, and tripping on sidewalks, we'd figure out that human beings are clumsy, confused little creatures just trying to make sense of stuff. But no, we still act like there's a cosmic scoreboard somewhere keeping track of who wore the better tie, who got the nicer office, who owned a slightly shinier toaster. People can't even relax without feeling guilty. You ever see someone try to take a vacation? They spend the first 3 days checking their messages, the next 3 apologizing for taking time off, and the last day saying, "I should have worked." We've built this giant illusion that everything we do matters deeply. That if we mess up once, structure of the universe will collapse. Like there's a cosmic intern taking notes. You miss a deadline and somewhere an angel sighs and updates your file. The truth is, nobody cares. You die, and the world just keeps spinning like it always does. The sun rises, the dog still barks, the neighbor still forgets to pick up their newspaper. The universe doesn't even notice, but people can't handle that. They want meaning. They want the illusion that their parking space and their schedule and their haircut all somehow fit into the divine plan. So they play dress up. They put on suits, uniforms, badges, and name tags, and suddenly they're somebody. You put a hat on a guy and give him a title, and suddenly he thinks he's been chosen by destiny. A man in a uniform will give you orders with the confidence of God himself, but take the hat off, and he's just another guy who can't find his car keys. People love pretending their job is saving humanity. You ever meet someone who works in a middle management? They talk like they're leading a revolution. We're optimizing workflow to increase departmental synergy. What does that even mean? That's not a job, that's a verbal magic trick. You're rearranging emails, not building a rocket to Mars. But they stand there, puffed up with self-importance, as if the fate of civilization depends on whether a report is filed before Friday. And the funny part, everyone buys it. We've all agreed to play along in this big costume party called E-Society. You show up with your mask, I show up with mine, we shake hands, talk about the weather, and pretend it all matters. Deep down, everyone knows it's ridiculous. But no one wants to be the first to laugh. We've built this unspoken rule that seriousness equals intelligence. If you look stressed and talk fast, people assume you must be doing something meaningful. But if you laugh too much or admit that you don't care about quarterly profits, suddenly you're immature. Look at how people talk about their jobs. I'm in finance. I'm in logistics. I'm in public relations. No. You're in a chair for 40 hours a week. That's what you're in. You're in a cubicle pretending to care about numbers that will be deleted in 5 years. People invent titles just to sound more important. Nobody's a janitor anymore. They're a custodial engineer. There are vision facilitators, a brand evangelists, and a corporate storytellers. Imagine trying to explain that to your ancestors. Yeah, great-grandpa, I tell stories about shampoo. It's all theater. Every bit of it, and the audience is just as lost as the actors. You walk through a city, and it's a parade of seriousness. People clutching briefcases like sacred relics, rushing to meetings like the fate of the galaxy depends on them arriving on time. You ask someone how they're doing, and they say, "That's not an emotion, that's a condition." People brag about being busy like it's a badge of honor. "Oh, I'm swamped, overloaded, drowning in work." Congratulations, you've turned your life into a self-made prison and you're proud of it. You ever notice how people use their jobs to measure their worth? I'm vice president of something nobody outside that office gives a damn about. People love their titles. They hang them on doors, print them on cards, announce them at parties. Because deep down they're terrified that without those words they might just be ordinary. They might just be another mammal trying to get through the day without losing their mind. And that's unbearable for them. They'd rather believe they're a crucial cog in the great cosmic machine. Then there's the money illusion. People equate importance with income. You make more, you matter more. It's simple math for the spiritually bankrupt. You can't even enjoy a sandwich without wondering if the guy next to you makes more money. You see someone in a better car, and suddenly you feel like you failed at existence. The joke is, the guy in the fancy car is thinking the same thing about someone else. It's an endless chain of insecurity dressed up as ambition. Everyone's running in circles trying to prove something to people who aren't even watching. And the rituals, my God, the rituals of seriousness. We've created ceremonies for nonsense. Office parties where people pretend to like each other. Award shows where people think they're a team for helping them sell sugar water. Business conferences where the motivational speakers are telling you to hustle harder. All of it designed to make adults feel like their hamster wheel is a racetrack. You slap on a lanyard, drink stale coffee in a hotel ballroom, and suddenly you're a visionary. Even social life isn't spared. People can't just hang out anymore. It's all about image. You can't just eat dinner. You have to curate an experience. You can't just laugh with friends. You have to prove you're having a meaningful evening. Everything's a performance for an invisible audience. You go to a cafe and it's full of people acting like philosophers over overpriced coffee, pretending their opinions matter in the grand scheme of existence. Spoiler, they don't. And families. Oh, families are masters at this seriousness game. Parents lecturing their kids like they're prepping them for the United Nations. You have to be responsible, disciplined, and productive. Yeah. And what did that get you, Dad? Hypertension and a bad back. Parents pass down seriousness like an heirloom. You grow up watching adults panic over bills, stress over birthdays, argue over curtains, and you think, well, I guess that's what life is. By the time you're 20, you're already exhausted from the rehearsal. The education system joins the act too. Kids sit in rows memorizing stuff they'll forget by next Tuesday, all to become irrespectable members of society. Teachers talk about it preparing students for the real world. The real world? You mean the one where people sit in traffic, answer emails, and argue over who's right in meetings that don't matter? What a dream. Kids should be learning how to stay sane in a madhouse, not how to file paperwork faster. Then you get religion and politics in the mix, and oh boy, the seriousness level goes nuclear. Everyone believes their side, their God. Their idea is the one that counts. People fight, argue, protest, and kill, all to prove their team's imaginary friend is better. You ever notice the louder someone shouts about truth, the less they seem to understand it? If you need to yell at people to believe you, you probably don't even believe yourself. And don't forget etiquette. The social seriousness police. People who correct your manners like they're saving civilization. You put your fork in the wrong place and suddenly it's a national crisis. Oh my, he doesn't know the difference between a salad fork and a dessert fork and a dessert fork. Lady, it's all going to the same mouth. Relax. The obsession with appearances has turned people into caricatures of sanity. They're not living. They're performing an endless audition for approval. Everywhere you look, it's people trying to look important. Fancy cars, serious faces, big words, fake confidence. The problem is, deep down, everyone knows it's all temporary. The car will rust, the face will wrinkle, the job will end, and the title will be forgotten. And that terrifies people, so they double down on the act. They dress sharper, talk faster, buy more junk, and pray no one notices how scared they are. But here's the real kicker. The universe has no interest in our little dramas. You think your presentation matters? The sun's been exploding for billions of years. You think your stock portfolio defines you? There are galaxies colliding right now that make our entire planet look like lint. You think your reputation will last. The pyramids are still standing and we don't even know who built them. We're like ants arguing over whose anthill is fancier while a lawnmower's warming up. The absurdity is magnificent. The only sane reaction is to laugh. Not that forced polite laugh people give at meetings, but a real, uncontrollable laugh. The kind that reminds you that you're alive and stupid, and that's perfectly fine. Because the second you stop taking yourself seriously, you start actually living. See, the problem isn't that life's too hard. It's that we're too invested in pretending it's supposed to make sense. We keep trying to turn existence into a serious business when it's really a slapstick comedy. You slip, you fall, you spill your coffee, and you die. That's the whole plot. The only thing you get to decide is whether you're going to laugh before the credits roll. You ever watch a kid play? They get it. They understand the secret. They don't care about prestige or productivity, they just play. They fall down, laugh, get up and do it again. Somewhere along the way, adults forgot that. They traded joy for judgment, play for purpose, laughter for legitimacy. And for what? A pension? A plaque? A seat at a table that won't even exist in 100 years? The truth is, we're all temporary passengers on a spinning rock, trying to find meaning in nonsense. The only real difference between the happy people and the miserable ones is that the happy ones know it's a joke. They stop pretending their costume is their identity. They wear the mask, but they know it's just part of the show. So next time you catch yourself worrying about your reputation, your career trajectory, or how serious you appear, stop. Take a look around. The birds don't care. The trees don't care. The stars definitely don't care. You're free to drop the act, because life's too short to play dress-up in a play no one's watching. And when the curtain finally falls, no one's going to remember the job title, the car, or the perfectly worded emails. They'll just remember if you made them laugh before the lights went out. You ever notice how people are scared of everything now? Every single thing. They wake up scared, they go to work scared, they eat scared, they go to bed scared, and then they dream about being scared. Human beings used to fight lions with sticks. Now we panic if the Wi-Fi drops for 10 seconds. Somewhere along the way, we turned into the only species that invents imaginary monsters just to have something to cry about. We're terrified of ghosts we made up ourselves. It's like we opened a horror movie inside our heads and never turned it off. You look around and everyone's got that same haunted look. That, oh my God, something bad's about to happen face. And nothing ever happened. Nothing. But they're ready for it. They've got fear on standby, ready to deploy. What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? What if my car breaks down? What if the toaster catches fire? You know what's funny? None of that's happening right now, but you're sweating like it already did. You're living in a rerun of disasters that haven't even aired yet. Yeah, people have become professional worriers. They polish their anxiety like it's an antique. They say, I just can't help it. I'm a natural worrier. Oh, congratulations. You've mastered the art of suffering in advance. You don't need reality anymore. You've got imagination. You've turned your mind into a full-time horror studio. The Fear Channel, broadcasting 24 hours a day, commercial-free. Tonight at 8, The Thing That Could Go Wrong, followed by Tomorrow's Probably Worse. We worry about everything that might happen and ignore everything that is happening. We'll sit there in a perfectly good moment. The sun's shining, food on the table, a heartbeat in our chest. And instead of enjoying it, we'll say, yeah, but what if it rains tomorrow? Tomorrow? That's your big problem? The day that doesn't even exist yet. It's not even built. You're afraid of unfinished construction. And it's not just individuals. The whole culture runs on fear. Governments sell it, media packages it, and companies profit off it. Fear is the best salesman in history. You can't sell happiness. Too unpredictable, but fear, that's reliable. Fear makes people buy, vote, obey, and apologize. If you scare someone enough, they'll pay you to make it stop. That's the whole system. Feeling unsafe? Buy this lock, feeling old. Buy this cream, feeling poor. Take this loan, they create the disease, then sell you the cure. People live their lives like a checklist of potential disasters. You see them pacing around, muttering, what if something bad happens? Well, something bad will happen, eventually. But spending your whole life rehearsing it doesn't make you prepared. It just makes you miserable ahead of schedule. You ever meet one of those people who say, I just like to be ready for anything? No, you like to be miserable about everything. You're addicted to control in a world that doesn't care about your schedule. And the funny part, most of the things people worry about never happen. Never. You spend weeks terrified of some meeting, some bill, some diagnosis. And when it's over, you realize you just wasted time inventing torture. You've basically been paying rent in hell for a vacation you never took. The universe doesn't even need to punish you. You're doing it yourself for free. People fear such tiny things too. What if I say the wrong thing? What if they don't like me? What if I spill coffee on my shirt? You ever notice the people who worry about embarrassment the most are the ones nobody's even looking at? The world's too busy worrying about itself to care about your shirt. Nobody's watching your movie. They're all busy starring in their own flop. And this modern fear, it's sophisticated now. It's not big, dramatic fear like tigers and volcanoes. It's small, sneaky fear. It hides behind words like innate concern and irresponsibility. You don't say, I'm scared my kid won't love me. You say, I just worry about their future. You don't say, I'm afraid to be alone. You say, I'm just not ready yet. We've learned to disguise fear as intelligence. The smarter you sound, the more fear you can get away with. I'm just being realistic. Yeah, reality called. It said you haven't checked in for years. You ever notice how people plan their whole lives around avoiding fear? They don't chase dreams, they chase safety. They don't ask, what do I want, Ed? They ask, what won't scare me? They buy houses they can't afford to feel as secure. Marry people they don't love to feel as stable. Take jobs they hate to feel as safe. Then they wonder why they're miserable. Because fear isn't safety's opposite. It's safety's partner in crime. You can't have one without the other. And you know who loves fear? Authority. Every government, every boss, every church, every parent. They all figured it out. You don't need change to control people. You just need to make them afraid. Afraid of being poor, of being wrong, of being punished, of being different. Once you've scared them enough, they'll build their own cage. They'll even decorate it for you. Look at my cage. It's got a mortgage. People are afraid of the past, afraid of the future, afraid of each other. Fear has no timeline. It just recycles itself like bad TV reruns. Remember that time I messed up? Yeah, and remember how you'll probably do it again. It's endless. You can't win against it because fear doesn't need facts. It just needs imagination. It's cheap, renewable energy. You could power the whole planet with human anxiety if someone hooked up a generator to the average brain. And don't even get me started on health paranoia. People